a victory, a big victory today. The sense that the government and DEFRA have finally, the door has swung open to make the extremely common sense decision to advocate the use of this deflagration technique. Now, just for the people who have no idea what I'm talking about, when people put up offshore wind farms, they have to clear the seabeds of masses of munitions, 100,000 tons of unexploded bombs dropped or abandoned since the Second World War. Usually they use a method which is called high explosive, and so they just blow them up out of the water and it all looks marvellous, great plumes of water go up the sky and everybody says, oh, look at that. What happens is that it liquefies the seabed, it sends out toxic particles into the ocean, it kills marine life, and it damages the sonar of whales and dolphins, which means that they can't swim in pods, can't hunt for food, and often beach and very often die. Lying parallel on the shelf of the ways of disposing them, exactly the same cost and exactly the same availability, is a method called deflagration. So you still have to dive down to the bomb on the ocean bed, you still have to place a charge against it, but instead of blowing it up, it fires a cone into the bomb and it burns it out from the inside with something like a little pop like that. Then you can scoop the whole thing up and take it out. So it's absolutely a no-brainer. Why isn't it being used? Because I think common usage in the past said we always blow things up, why should we change? But now we're saying, really focus on this. Government and DEFRA have been umming and ahhing for a bit, and today they've said we're going to advocate this as the best way of doing it, deflagration. So this is a day of celebration. It doesn't mean to say that everybody yet is off the hook, because we want to go to all the big offshore wind power companies and say, will you dedicate yourself to signing this piece of paper to say we will never use high explosives again?
It's a little bit ironic, isn't it, that all of these technologies that we thought were so green and so wonderful for the environment seem to have actually been, in some respects, harming it all these years.
I know, it's heartbreaking, isn't it? Because it's something that most of us don't know about. We just see great big windmills out at sea and you go, gosh, whether you like them or not, you go, there they are turning away. And we don't really think about how they get put there. You think, well, they must stick a stalk into the ground. But one thing I never knew is that how many unexploded bombs there were, not only around our islands, but everywhere around the world. So anything that's going to be put offshore is going to involve unexploded armaments. If they use the old methods, terrifying for marine, the future of marine life. If they use this new method, win-win situation.
Now, how long have you been going at this campaign? How long has it taken the government to recognise and deliver?
Peter Carroll is the mastermind of all this, and I worked with him on the Gurkha Justice campaign. And as soon as he alerted me to the fact of all these things that I didn't know about the bombs, about the terrible destruction to marine life, I jumped on board. So that was sometime last year, and I can't remember. So this has been a little bit of nagging, a little bit of kicking, a little bit of shoving, a little bit of writing and waiting and prodding and nudging. And then finally DEFRA has come down with this slightly cautious, but on the whole, celebratory statement today. So this is good.
There are some elements to which there will still need to be explosions being done. There seem to be some caveats in this decision today. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, well, they say that everybody agrees that in some very rare instances you have to use high explosive. Very, very rare. But rather than just using them commonplace, you just find one and you just go, this is the only way to shift this will be this high explosive. On the other hand, the other way, which is just costing exactly the same and causes no harm, why not use it? So we're just going to try to get the big companies to sign up, and we want the pressure from people still, pressure from MPs still, to get those companies to sign up to this agreement and maybe reassure DEFRA that what we're doing and what they're doing, because they're cautious and have to say we have to test, look, this has been used by 17 navies around the world today. It's been used for 14 years. It is hardly dangerous, but anyway, we'll go through all this cautious, treading over eggshells way, but we will get there. We're not going to let this one go.
Now, of course, this is all in the context of the UK's environmental policy, and COP finished last weekend. What did you think of the outcome?
What the public wants to see is something actually happening. We want to see stuff happening. There are a lot of decisions. We go, but what do we do? What do we do now? And the answer is this is one of the things we can do, which is to put the pressure on to make sure that those offshore wind companies say we are going to use the deflagration method in the future.
You've been involved in so much activism in the last few years. Is this a proper part of civic participation? Would you like to see more people in the public sphere who are public figures get involved in these kind of campaigns?
Well, sometimes they're criticised. Sometimes people say, why should actors tell us what to do and things like this. So we've always got to just take our civic duties very seriously. I don't have any party politics at all. I don't do anything on behalf of any particular paid-up group. But some things, the environment, animal welfare, abandoned human beings, refugees, veterans, children, all those sorts of things, you'd have to have a heart of stone not to care about them. And so you must do what you can.
And you'd never think of standing for office yourself?
Never.
Well, on that note, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.
So much.